wanted to make me associate professor of English. I said, English is not my field. I want to be called professor of speech. Well, they broke down and gave me that title. But I was associate professor of speech in the Department of English. So at least I got the foot in the door. And later on, we started adding phonetics and a course called the teaching of speech. Most of our debating was with two people on a team and debated both sides. There were several tournaments where we had four, like that national tournament with 100 schools. I used 4 people. We did very especially well on the negative. A lot of smart kids.
Yes, you did.
Dino Curris, for example, said at his inaugural at Marion State University, when he was inaugurated as president, he introduced special guests. He introduced me. And he said if it weren't for Dr. Blyton, I would probably still be living in Grant County suckering tobacco. May was one of my students and a very good debater, and later became a member of the Board of Trustees at UK. Paul Chilgren became a member of the Board of Trustees. So I'm very proud of those people, and I think they taught me more than I taught them. That induction into society, 100 people came, and it was a big affair. We had it in Rupp Arena. That was a big affair.
I had the pleasure to meet Dr. Blyton on a couple of different occasions, and on both those occasions I found him to be not only a generous man with his time, but what a wonderful storyteller. And it wasn't that uncommon for him to pull out his scrapbook and start talking about things like Blyton Landing in Wawawai, Washington, which is named after his family. There's a wonderful photograph of him standing out front of a sign at the national park area there, Gifford Blyton Landing. The other thing that he liked to talk about was his love and passion for basketball. And as an academic myself, I was surprised at some of the stories he told. For example, he talked about the nickname of Doc Basketball. And while he wasn't quite sure where he got the name, he thought it probably had something to do with 62 continuous years of buying season tickets. So in the couple of interactions that I had with Gifford over the last couple of years before his death, we would sit in his living room and he would talk about where he'd been and his students. There's some wonderful photos of him standing in front of the trophy case representing the number of years that he was a coach. And I'll never forget one instance in particular. We were sitting in his living room and he was telling stories. And as he started telling the stories about teaching and his life as an academic and his life, around basketball, he just started laughing. And I have a couple of photos that I took that day when he started laughing. And it just, again, a genuine spirit to be around and so gracious.
All children and the other people have given close to $1 million in my name for these programs at UK, and the state matches that, so it's $2 million. Mm-hmm. Paul Children gave $1 million. Dino Curris, Richard Roberts, Charles English, these other kids have given about $400,000. Even when this chair was established in my name, one of my wise guy students says, "Blyton, what you need is not a chair but a couch."
The endowment that he provided was much more than just public speaking and presentation. His passion for debate and for argumentation and for persuasion are just really, really critical. And so having Dr. Selnow in that role now as the Blyton Endowed Chair allows his generosity and his legacy to live on.
I actually came to the University of Kentucky in the fall of 2007 and was honored to be able to carry on with the vision and mission of Gifford Blyton as the endowed professor. I have to say that when I got here in 2007, I was surprised to see the new general education curriculum that was being proposed at the time, and there was no oral communication component in it at all. And I'm happy to report that in 2008, what we rolled out as our new UK core general education curriculum actually has oral communication as a primary component in it. Actually, that same year in 2009, we were able to bring the competitive debate program back into the college as part of this division of instructional communication. In 2011, we continued the effort and the vision that I think Gifford Blyton would be very proud of, to get the Kentucky High School Speech League and its state tournaments back here at the University of Kentucky. This year, we started a competitive speech program at the University of Kentucky and hired 2 people to serve as its co-directors. So now we have competitive debate, we have the state tournaments for high school speech and debate, and we have competitive speech here in our college, in our Division of Instructional Comm at the University of Kentucky. I think Gifford Blyton would be pleased to know that. We also are proposing 2 new certificate programs that are really directly related to the vision of Gifford Blyton and the oral communication component. One is teaching and coaching speech and debate. So students who are getting education degrees who want to eventually teach in the high school level and maybe coach speech and debate could get this certificate so that they could do so effectively. But also, teachers who are practicing in the field right now could come back to the University of Kentucky and get this certificate to become better at teaching and coaching and running tournaments in their schools. And finally, one thing that we're doing this year that is very exciting is something that we're calling a dual credit option. So some of the best and the brightest seniors in high school across the state could have an opportunity to take our composition and communication courses for dual credit, to get credit, a jump start on their college degree credit earnings and also to fulfill requirements that they need for graduation at the high school level. So I really believe that I've taken what Gifford Blyton has done so wonderfully and tried to honor that tradition and take it to the next level in terms of what we can do even more to promote oral communication, not only within competitive speech and debate, but in curriculum, not only in the communication college, but across the university and the community at large.
If you feel better and if you love other people, that's going to affect them and it's going to affect you. You can't help it.